The committee voted, the committee decided that it would, that we can go ahead and accept the strategy as is. This is only the strategy, this isn't the final portion of the overall project. But the committee reviewed the strategy.
Copy the strategy.
Yes, sir, we do. Yes, we do. I need to get with Esther. She wouldn't let us know who that commissioner, who that person is.
It's all
President Art, Commissioner Palacios, Precinct 2, and Commissioner Palacios, Precinct 4, and myself. We have a quorum. Is there any item under open forum? All right, our consent agenda, any concerns?
No concerns, Judge.
Move for approval?
second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. All right, item 4.
Item 4, approval to execute settlement statement and all other closing documentation for the purchase of 2 tracts of real property out of the Texas-Mexican Railway Company survey from Hidalgo County. This is a tract of land that we've been working with Commissioner Joseph Palacios for the past several months, where the district is right now to acquire that land from him. I believe legal counsel has cleared all documentation on it.
We're ready to close.
Move for approval?
Godfrey,
Yes, sir.
there's a matching agenda item on the county side. However, there's no documentation as a support for the county side of the...
The documentation is on the table.
I'm sorry?
The documentation is on the table.
Okay.
The documents are,
Are on the table.
okay, that's what this is then.
Second.
All right, those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B, approval to issue payment to Hidalgo County in the amount of $385,628 for the purchase of real property out of the Texas-Mexican Railway Company survey.
That's going to precinct 2, right?
Sir?
Where is the money going?
Hidalgo County, Precinct 4.
No, no.
To be used for what?
That's Judge, Commissioners, that was the land that we settled with the Drainage District for them to occupy the old administration, also the service building that we have on the east side of Doolittle. From that sale, we were able to at least plan for the building of a new mechanic shop and everything like that. So, you know, this agreement allowed us to move forward as a precinct to build these new facilities with the sale of the property to the Drainage District.
I believe the money the
Judge,
precinct was utilizing for the construction of new facilities.
Right.
If I may add, B is part of A. A was approval of the deed and closing documents, and B is the money for the settlement statement to close that transaction.
We're just concerned about where he was going. Once it hit the county general
I
fund.
think the county general fund is where it goes.
Yeah, 'cause I don't think you can designate it
It's going
for
to
any
precinct
particular
4.
office. It goes into the general fund and...
So you're going to
Then
have enough money
appropriate.
to reimburse precinct 2, no?
If they're surplus.
All right, need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 4C.
Approval and accept to the Hidalgo County Drainage System Number 1 audit for report for 2011. We have Ricky from Burton McCumber to make a presentation to the Board of Directors.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Good morning, sir.
And I was trying to make an audit report presentation a little bit more interesting. They say nothing's more painful than watching an accountant trying to present an audit report, and so I was trying to put it on PowerPoint, and I can't seem to.
Rick, would you mind getting close to that mic?
Sure. Again, I was hoping to present the audit report in the form of a PowerPoint presentation. Is there something? Yeah. Well, that's fine. I'll just go through it.
All right, sir.
Okay. It's just a brief presentation. I am here today to present the results of our audit for the year ended December 31st, 2011, Judge, and of course here to present the audit report for acceptance this year. There should be a document in you all's, and here it is. There should be a document in you all's packet that relates to, bear with me, Judge, I apologize. there we go. Thank you. There are some required communications that we have to make as it relates to the independent audit judge, and I'm going to briefly go through these. Some of the required communications relate to any significant audit findings. This year, what is new in y'all's audited financial statement is an implementation of a new accounting standard called GASB 54. And really, the one thing I certainly want to convey to y'all is that the descriptions and classifications in what is now reported as fund balance has changed. Before, we used to use terminology such as unreserved and things of that nature. The term that you will hear today and on a going forward basis will be unassigned. Also, too, with respect to any difficulties encountered in performing the audit, other than the routine nature of performing the audit, we really didn't have any difficulties. I do want to make one point, though, is in the past you've heard me refer to the fact that we cannot complete our audit without the support and assistance of other third parties. And this year, we are a little bit later than we were last year because one of our key confirmations from DHS did not come in until mid-June. And so we could not release audit report until we actually got the confirmation in. So that's I guess, the primary reason why we're a little bit later this year. In terms of corrected and uncorrected misstatements, we had a couple of audit adjustments, but not many. Disagreements with management. We didn't have any disagreements with management during the course of the audit. Certainly we have spirited debates and discussions, but certainly not anything that I would consider to be outside of the normal course of conducting an audit. Also, too, we need to report to you with respect to if we had come across whether the Drainage District had any consultation with other accountants. They did not. Other findings and issues, we had any, did not have any, and other information and documents within the audited financial statement just refers to the supplementary information included within the audit report. In terms of the financial statement audit and what I'm here to report to you all, we did issue an unqualified opinion on the audit report, which is the highest level of assurance that an entity can get from an independent auditor. And I'll paraphrase it, but basically saying that in our opinion, the financial statements which you all have present fairly in all material respects the financial position of the district. I did want to present to you all the total general fund balance, if you will, of the Drainage District. I put it in graph form so you can see how it has trended over the past. We are showing here a total fund balance of $14 million, but I emphasize the word total, which is why I put it in red on the presentation. The unassigned balance, and the one that you should really focus on, is really an amount of about $11.5 million. The difference is that you may recall that the Drainage District committed a little over $2 million with regard to pre-award engineering costs that you still have not recovered from DHS. So that's a total of your fund balance in total, not the under, in total, and how it has trended. There's a list of your property tax rates. Obviously, your M&O rate has gone down. Property valuations have trended down a little bit, but not by much. But when you have the combination of a lower tax rate and really a flat property tax valuation, it typically leads to general fund revenues being down or flat. The emphasis here is on total general fund revenues. There are other sources of revenues that the Drainage District got in prior year that they did not get this year. But that is a trend for general fund revenues. Expenditures, as you will see from a trend line, has gone down accordingly. Probably the trend line is probably a little steeper. The amount of total bond-in debt that's being presented in the audit report, $97 million last year versus 94 this year, obviously due to the repayment of the bond debt. Debt service revenue, again, you can see that trend line, and as you would expect, the debt service expenditures follow the same trend line. There's two other reports included in your audit report. It relates to the single audit report. One is a report on internal control over financial reporting and compliance, for which the Drainage District also received an unqualified opinion, and a report of compliance requirements that could have a material effect on each major program and on internal control, which also received an unqualified opinion. And again, sometimes people get confused, but an unqualified opinion is the best opinion that one can get. There were a couple of management letter comments included within the report. We sat down and had an exit conference with Godfrey and Laura to address them. One relates to an additional approval that we would like to see on behalf of the finance director. And the other one relates to a timing issue related to some funds that were requested from DHS. But in meeting with them, we're confident that those items will be addressed, and we will not have an issue when we come back and audit next year. And the last thing I just want to discuss is just new initiatives taken on by the Drainage District. One of the things that they took on, and we kind of wish more and more of our clients took this on, was they instituted what we call a PRIDE program within their organization. PRIDE meaning promoting responsibility, integrity, and dedication to ethics. And we as a firm actually spent 3 days at the Drainage District holding classes for all of the employees, whether you're the guy, making sure that the premises are clean to the top individual. And what we talked about was doing the right thing, the responsibility that they have not only to themselves, but to the organization, especially as the organization grows. And so I want to just thank Godfrey and his staff for taking this on. I think it was well received by the employees. I know from time to time, when we hire a new employee, they'll sign a code of ethics, and you may have an employee who's been here 10 or 15 years, and the last time they ever saw the code of ethics was the day that they were hired. And so this was something that, again, I'm proud to say that they took on, and I thought it was well received by the employees and hope to do it again next year. So that's
Are
it.
there any areas of concern in your opinion, sir?
No, Judge. Again, we had a couple of comments, but certainly nothing that can't be rectified here on their behalf.
All right. Are there any questions?
Well, a question relating to the county's audit.
Yes, sir.
This for the drainage.
Yes, sir.
district. When can we expect to get the,
Well, I'm actually, will be here next Tuesday to present the county audit report, Commissioner.
If no other questions, I would entertain a motion to approve the report in a second.
so moved.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item 5.
Item 5, request approval for employee number 112119 to withdraw funds from forfeit 7 plan due to hardship. This is normal process that we present for the boards for their consideration and approval.
Move to approve.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. For
Judge,
the record,
Commissioners,
we've been joined by Commissioner Quintanilla.
Judge, Commissioner, we have no item on the closed session unless the board wishes to obtain one.
Move to adjourn.
We need to put an item on the agenda concerning that letter that Mr. Peña sent us. Bert Peña?
Yes, sir. I'm trying to get that rectified and present to y'all.
Okay. Need a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you very much, Judge, Commissioner.
Thank you, sir. At this time, we would convene our regular meeting of the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court for today, July 31st, 2012. Present are Commissioners Quintanilla, Precinct 1, Palacios, Precinct 2, Palacios, Precinct 4, and myself. We have a quorum. Please join us in our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing and bow your heads. Almighty God, we come together today for the good of the citizens of Hidalgo County. Give us your wisdom as we make decisions that will affect them today and the years to come. Help us to work well together, recognizing that each of us are here because we want what is best for Hidalgo County. We ask for your blessing and your guidance. In your name we pray, our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
And before we begin, I wanted to take a little time to congratulate Aurora Cavazos from Peñitas on the occasion of her 100th birthday that she just celebrated on July the 28th. Born and raised in Hidalgo County, graduated from Tabasco High School, La Jolla, and she's still very much mentally alert and in good physical condition and living in Peñitas. And she was here last year. We honored her on her 99th. She told me not to worry, she was gonna make it to 100. She did it, and she happens to be my aunt, and I just wanted to make sure I publicly congratulated Tia Lola.
That means you're going to live to be 102, Judge.
Well, the genes, I hope, got spread around. The good genes, anyway. All right. We have, in keeping with our policy of recognizing elected officials, both in the county and out, and in our public bodies throughout the county, we have item 6B. It'll be a presentation by members of the FAR San Juan Alamo School District that we want to welcome this morning and thank them for being here. Yes, sir.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Today, we're fortunate in Hidalgo County to have many innovative educational programs. Today, we would like to highlight one of the extraordinary programs that has garnered national attention that some of you all may or may not be aware of. The program is called College Cubed, and here to tell you about the program is PSJ Superintendent Mr. Daniel King. Also with him today are members of the school board, and he'll introduce them as well. Mr. King?
Good morning. Thank you, Judge and Commissioners. And it's my privilege, first of all, to present some of our school board that is here with us today. We have Board Vice President, Mr. Bobby Rodriguez, and we have board members, Ramona Baron, Mr. Pete Garcia, and Mr. Gilbert Herrera. And I was asked to kind of give you a little overview of the reason why PBS featured PSJ on its news hour earlier this summer, and why PSJ School District is getting a tremendous amount of recognition from the U.S. Department of Education, the Texas Education Agency, the Governor's Office, numerous foundations, the Great Texas Foundation, the Gates Foundation, and other agencies. We call our initiative PSJ College Cubed. Our goal is we're making a tremendous focus on getting all of our students ready for college, connected to college, and to complete college. And we're working on transforming our entire school district. And I just want to give you just a little bit to give you an idea of why it's attracting so much attention. In 2007, PSJ School District had a very high number of dropouts. The high schools came out in the national publication. All the high schools as dropout factories, had low graduation numbers, stagnant achievement, a lot of other issues with the school district, low staff, and community morale. And the Board of Trustees made a commitment to address that. And in 2007, they asked me to get together with a team in PSJ and commit to really turning that district around. And as of 2012, called this College Cube Growing the Investment, the situation is completely different. The dropout number and rates have been reduced by 90%. PSJ's four-year graduation rate and high school completion rate are among the best in Texas. We've doubled the annual output of graduates from 2007. PSJ has been recognized as a national model for dropout recovery. We get visited by school districts all over the nation. We had 40 school districts come in last year from Alaska, New Mexico, North Carolina, and many from around the state of Texas. Been designated by the governor, and 2 years ago, the governor of Texas, Governor Perry, and the Commissioner of Education came to PSJ to designate PSJ as a state demonstration site for how you can literally set out a plan to connect all students to college, a state and national leader in early college work and dual enrollment, and a leader nationally recognized in producing biliterate college-ready graduates. Just to give you in terms of the data, on that graph there, the blue line is PSJ, the red line is Region 1 as a whole, and the green line is the state. So in 2005-06 school year, PSJ's dropout rate, annual dropout rate was almost double the state average. If you come forward to 2009-2010, the last year for which data is available, a few weeks from now we'll have the 2011 data. You can see that PSJ's annual loss went from 6.2% down to 1%, went from almost double the state average to less than half the state average. We're now approaching about a third the state average on dropout. We commit to getting all our students through. Our four-year graduation rate, again, the blue line is PSJ, In 2007, PSJ was graduating only 62% of its students within 4 years, way below the region. PSJ was hurting the region, pulling the region down. Today, in 2012, we're lifting the region. We're helping this county, and we're helping the state. Our 4-year completion rate now is above the state average. It's above the regional average. It's improved a dramatic 24 points, and that's only in a 3-year period from 2007 to 2010. This summer, when the 2011 data comes out, I believe we'll be at about 90% productivity in getting students to graduate in 4 years. Our high school completion rate, and the high school completion rate measures beyond 4 years, students who stay after the 4 years and go on to complete. We've gone from 80% to almost 97% of our students that stick with us to complete high school. And again, we've gone from being a drag on the region to where we're now helping the county and the regional statistics. We've taken a very comprehensive and very innovative approach to the dropout crisis. I'll just mention very briefly, we have a number of initiatives. The first one we call Countdown to Zero. Every fall, we go out and look for every single missing student. We don't consider it acceptable for a single student that should be in school not to be in school. We go door to door, and we spend the whole month of September looking for any student that ought to be in school. If they're on the streets, that's not going to be good for our community. They need to be in school and completing. We've set specific goals that we feel we ought to be graduating 2,000 students a year, and we're getting closer to that every year. We've almost doubled the number already. We push for our high school students to graduate on time, and down to the junior high and elementary that they should be on time, on level at each grade level. Our dropout recovery is very unique and has been acknowledged in the nation because we don't just try to bring dropouts back to school, we try to get them into college. They ought to be able to get certificates, associate degrees. They need some advanced training so that they can take care of their family and be providers and not be dependent on our society. One of the most innovative programs is our College Career and Technology Academy we opened in the summer of 2007. This innovative high school serves 18 to 26-year-olds who have not finished high school, who dropped out or did not complete in 4 years, and works together in a partnership with South Texas College to not only get them a high school degree, but a diploma, but to work with them to get a certificate from the college and be able to move on to productive employment. Since 2007, we have graduated 948 18 to 26-year-olds. This is a tremendous boost to the county. This August, we'll have our final graduation for the 11-12 school year. We believe we'll surpass 1,000 graduates now over the 5 years. These are 1,000 young people that would be out there without an education if it were not for this program. This program is being replicated all up and down the valley now and is spreading around the state. Last session, Senator Hinojosa got passed Senate Bill 975, where the legislature of Texas authorized that this program ought to be replicated throughout the state. In terms of productivity, you can see there that in 2007, PSJ graduated less than 1,000 students. But we're now at the point that we're approaching graduating 2,000 students a year, so we have almost doubled our productivity. We're scaling up College for All. We work with separate early college high schools. We're transforming the entire district to early college work. What we believe is that our students with no background, and many of them with no family background with higher education, they need to taste it before they leave us. We need to connect them, get them some success in it, also get them situated on a career path. What do you want to study? What do you want to be? We found that gives our high school students a lot more interest in their high school education. They now see the purpose of high school education towards their future. We work with dropouts to get back on track to college. We work on dual enrollment for all. This last spring, we had 1,500 high school students taking college courses already. This gives them meaningful college courses, tuition free. We share with the colleges. I mentioned to you that our College Cubed is our logo, and I'll finish up with that in a minute, exactly what that means. But the benefit of systemic early college transformation, we align our high school and college and career-ready standards with the college courses. We also align with business and industry. What kind of employees do they need? What kind of licensures do they need? Prepare students for college without the need for remediation. They can earn up to 60 college hours credit-free. Last year we had 60 students earn their associate degree before they graduated from high school. Those students will go on to do tremendous things. Some of them are going on to Stanford, to Yale, to UT Austin, to UT Pan American. They'll be able to sustain their families. We're also working on connecting students to college after they graduate. A few years ago, we were sending about 500 students to college after graduation. We're now in the neighborhood of sending 1,000 that go into college after graduation. We hope to move that up to 1,500 over the next 2 years. And like I said, our whole push is College Cube, that every student be ready, connected, and we work with the colleges. We want our students to complete college. And so we provide transition counseling services. We don't forget about our students after they walk the stage, but we continue to provide counseling services to them to make sure they successfully get in the door in the college. And we kind of follow them during the freshman year and work with them if they're struggling initially. And so that, with that impact, we feel, this county, one of the biggest issues in this county is educational attainment. We're making a huge impact on that right now in terms of high school graduation. We're committed to work with the colleges that they actually complete college, complete a certificate, complete an associate degree, complete a bachelor's degree. We believe that working together and then with our neighboring districts, that we can make a huge boost in educational attainment, and PSJ and the Hidalgo County area is becoming known statewide and nationwide as problem solvers. People are coming to us. We work in very challenging circumstances. In challenging circumstances, you have two choices: make excuses or find solutions. The advantage when we find solutions is that we can offer those solutions to others. And so that's kind of what we're about at PSJ right now. Thank you again, Judge and Commissioners.
Mr. King, thank you, and members of the board, thank you for your accomplishments, for demonstrating that sometimes we have to put in place some innovative methods to achieve whatever that goal that you're trying to achieve may be, and you certainly have done it. And I want to congratulate you on behalf of the County Commissioners Court and the residents of Hidalgo County, and hopefully this will carry on to our other school districts.
Thank you, Judge.
And Tito, ¿quieres decir algo?
Well, I think congratulations
Let's go down there.
and the board. That's a fine job.
Good work, man. Let's go down there. Ahorita le decimos.
This is a new local agreement that the water district has. They want to the city of Lecture. You look at it, if it's good, fine. The lawyer is there for you to talk.
All right. Our next item we're going to be moving up, item number 6D. I understand we have a representative from the Port of Brownsville.
Yes, Judge. We have Edward Campirano from the Port of Brownsville. We're seeking approval of a letter of support for the Port of Brownsville's Gulf Coast LNG project and authorization for the county judge to sign the letter. Mr. Campirano is here and he can explain a little more, but currently what's occurred is they filed an application with the Department of Energy seeking authorization to export liquefied natural gas domestically, and the authorization is pending, but they're seeking comments from the local area and support. With that, I'll have Mr. Campirano come up.
Judge, Commissioners,
Good morning,
ladies and
sir.
gentlemen.
Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity. As was stated, my name is Eduardo Campirano. I'm the Port Director at the Port of Brownsville. And the project itself is actually a private venture. It's a project called Gulf Coast LNG Exports. And what it is, it's a proposed project to construct a liquefaction facility and an export terminal at the Port of Brownsville to export domestically produced liquid natural gas. And so presently, there is an application pending before the Department of Energy that would seek authorization to be able to not only develop the facilities and the export terminal, but also to export the LNG to foreign markets. That's the first leg of the process. The second leg of a process is once that's approved, then the actual facility plan and all of the permitting to be able to do so must be filed with the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, or the FERC. And at this process, what we're simply asking is for area support for the LNG project before the Department of Energy. And so certainly we've received support from some of the entities in Hidalgo County, Mercedes, members of the Rio South Texas Economic Council, of which the Port of Brownsville is a member. And this is a project that will have significant regional impacts. It means a great deal of construction jobs during construction and good paying permanent jobs once the facility is up and running. So I'm here to answer any questions you may have, and certainly ask for your favorable consideration of a letter of support. I think it would go a long way to the regulatory entities that there is support for this project in the region.
Are there any questions? If not, I would entertain a motion.
Second.
Those in favor of item 6D indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners.
Thank you, sir. Bobby, I've got it signed if he wants to pick it up. I would like to, at this time, take some time to offer our condolences to Mr. Raul Silguero. His mother, Maria Silguero, passed away this last week. Raul is our former budget officer, and Raul is presently the Chief of Staff for Precinct Number 2, and we're just sorry to hear about the passing of her mother. All right. Paul, what item do you have, sir? All right, we will move on to item number 10. You're almost there, Paul. You got to wait till the end of the day. No, I'm talking about getting elected. We will know by sometime tonight if you made it, I guess. Item number 10. Our tax office.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Yes, I'm a little nervous, but I'll wait till 7 o'clock this afternoon. Well, thank you for allowing us to be here. I want to introduce Eva Mireles. She's our Collections Manager, and we're here to delete and create another position that needs some revising. So we have the delete accounting 3 and create the internal auditor 3. Delete the bookkeeper 2 and create deputy clerk number 3.
Move for approval.
Second.
Okay, before we do that, are we trying to give raises indirectly here? Is that what this is, or?
No, our office is really growing, so what we're trying to do is revise some of the duties that an accountant 3 does to, for example, the accountant 3 internal audit, to to perform more extensive auditing and oversee compliances, monitoring on refunds, also to assist in auditing overpayments, double payments, supplements, refunds, paid in error, et cetera. And the same for the other position. Right now, we're over 335,000 accounts in the whole county, so our workload is becoming a little bit more, so we need these people to do more work for us.
Because I know that our county departments have been meeting, trying to address the concerns and the problems that presently exist with our pay scale and our payment to our employees.
Right.
And we're trying to avoid, at least I felt like at some point we had decided we were going to try to avoid bringing up items that had allowed for an increase in salary unless they were truly new positions.
Right. No, they're not, there's no impact to the budget, it's just same, we're just revising the position. We're actually trying to get these people to do more of what they're doing because of the busy season of the tax office, we already received the certified total, so we're actually really trying to get these people to do more of the, we're actually lacking people, but we're trying to work with them.
Is the accountant 3 going to be the auditor 3?
Yes.
Is the bookkeeper 2 going to be the deputy clerk 3?
Correct.
All right,
How much money are we talking here in difference? None?
Should increase, yeah.
There's no budget impact.
No budget impact?
No.
No, but I mean, increases and not?
No, not at all.
there's no salary increase.
No.
Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Should have started there, Paul.
Yeah.
No, it's always good to put it for discussion, so I appreciate it very much. Thank you, have a good day.
Judge, did that include item 2, or Commissioner, did that include
Yes,
item 2,
the approval of the revised salary schedule.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, it's on. Good, it was on.
All right, let's move back to item number 5.
Judge, have we done the consent agenda?
No, we haven't.
Not yet.
No, I have not, I'm sorry.
Okay, if we
Mr.
could-
Eufrasio, any concerns?
Yes, Judge, I would like to ask that consent agenda item 8B and 8C be pulled for discussion and approval as part of the regular agenda.
I would also like to add 8F to be pulled.
I need a motion to approve, subject to 8, B, C, and F. Need a second?
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. All right, what is the problem with 8, B, C, and F?
8B, he just wants to discuss separately. This is for Precinct 3. This is a request that we go out for the term agreement for emergency ambulance services for the unincorporated areas in Precinct 3. Although there is an option to renew for another year, Commissioner Flores has recommended that we not take that option and go out for a new term.
Yeah.
That would be then, B1 would be recommend not to renew, and B2 would be authority to advertise.
You need action on that?
Yes, sir.
Move for approval?
Well, yes.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
8, did you say C, Mr. Espacio?
C, this, the Urban County Program lease office space.
Oh, this is, we're putting these on consent because they are necessary and usual items, but this is requesting authority to advertise and approval of procurement packet for the lease of office space for the Hidalgo County Urban County Program. I know that there may be discussions for another solution, but in the event, we will have authority and will not proceed to advertise unless we run out of options.
Move to approve.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item F, this is authority to exercise the additional 60-day grace period option and provide and send said notice as required under the current contract for lease or purchase of office space, and that's with Edinburgh Real Estate Network. This will give us those additional 60 days in order to move people out of the Metaplex building.
Marty,
But we do have a formal option to take, yes.
the contract is dated September of '09, when it started. But we exercise in a 60-day,
Yes, this is at the end of the, period. In other words, we're going to exercise the 60-day grace period extension in order to get us out and let it expire on its own term.
right. But I thought the contract requires a 60-day notice, but it expires.
It's October.
Well, it started in September, I believe, the first week in September.
Well, it
or
started
9.
upon occupancy, but the actual agreement was approved prior to that, and we're sending the 60-day notice.
So when
prior
was the
to-
occupancy?
Was in October.
October, okay.
It commenced in October. So we're giving the
So
60-day
the whole month
notice.
of August and September and October?
Yes, but we
Okay.
did, but the actual payments did not start until full occupancy of the building.
All right, thank you.
And we have received the signed notice by Dr. Cortez that he is acknowledged that we are taking the option. We received that yesterday and did attach to the agenda.
So I think court approved not the purchase, right? So the lease is
Correct, this
gonna
is just
end?
the 60-day grace period.
Okay.
Now,
This is
what do
under
you
the lease
recommend we
terms.
do here, Mark?
Take action
Take action on
and
this?
approve, yes.
Okay, move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
6 months.
Need to hear more ayes. That's the-
May I, oh, great.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
I just would like some direction. Does the court not wish us to put on consent agenda those items that are up for authority to advertise?
Why
I was trying
why
to-
don't you start coming to our meetings on Monday at the 4 o'clock in my office, where we're talking about these different issues of concern the auditor has? That way, maybe we can start working it out before we even get here.
Well, even if we do that, it's already posted by then, Judge. And yesterday, I did ask Mr. Guerra if I was needed, and I was available by phone. So I do want you to know I was cognizant of the meeting. But no, what I'm saying is, authority to advertise and approval of the procurement packet, we have been putting on consent so that it doesn't run long on the regular agenda. Now, mind you, before this, we have gotten recommendations by those user departments that they wish the advertising to take place, or it's a term contract that needs to be re-advertised because we've exceeded all the options to renew.
Why don't you come on Monday, next Monday at that meeting, and we'll talk about the issue and fully discuss it with all of the parties that are involved in it.
Yes, sir.
We'll talk about it then.
Okay, thank you.
All right, item 5, is there anything, Mr. Guerra? Under item 5?
Yes, Judge, out of 5A, 1 and 2, there's no action unless there's action to be taken further down the agenda. Item 5B, I'm asking approval to advertise an accountant 2 position at the Elections Department. That is a grade 10. That is a vacant position.
Move to approve.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And item 5C is I'm asking approval for Ms. Dairine Sarmiento to travel to an HHSC Regional Healthcare Partnership Planning Summit.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 6A,
Judge, Commissioners, good morning. Jaime Lugotti from the County Judge's Office. Judge, as you recall, and Commissioners, as you recall, previous meetings, we had presented the Energy Efficiency Conservation Strategy. Mr. Paul Vasaldua was here and presented a little thumbnail sketch of how that strategy has come to be. We also have with us today Mr. Donnie Herron, once again, to give you the final presentation, and the committee will be asking for action on approval of, or acceptance of the actual Energy Efficiency Conservation Strategy. Mr. Herron?
good morning, sir.
Good morning, gentlemen. For the record, my name's Donnie Herron. I'm a principal of Energy Knowledge Group. I'm responsible for the technical component of the project and the final report. What you're receiving right now is an abstract of a 500-plus page document. And again, Mr. Vasaldua's situation last night brought me to at least print these for you to have something this morning. What I'd like to do in our limited time is just touch on what we found at the energy study and present you with some findings and a way forward for the county. And so the conduct of the project, we were assigned 17 buildings, and they are the primary buildings of the county. And what we did was we took a look at these buildings and established these as a foundation of a 5-year energy strategy. When you look at the county as a whole from a portfolio standpoint, the county has over 150 buildings, something in the order of 225 electric meters, and probably in the order of 900 plus air conditioning units and heating units. That's a pretty formidable task to manage from an energy efficiency standpoint. What we did with the findings is we presented them in the document in an action item step by step, so the county management has some method of proceeding and not just be able to put this up on the shelf as we talked about in the past. What we'd like to do is see the county become literally a showcase county for energy efficiency, and it's very doable. One of the highlights I want to show or bring up today is the use of the Energy Star rating system, and they established a 75 or a 75th percentile is a goal for buildings to achieve. What we did was take this metric and develop it further into cost savings using a DOE standard product called Target Finder. What that does is gave us the ability to see what these 17 buildings could achieve if we were to wave that magic energy wand and bring these buildings up to an Energy Star 75. With that said, it would cost around $12 million to achieve approximately $1.3 million in savings annually, about 35%. Again, and a simple payback of about 7.5 years. What I want to emphasize is these are order of magnitude. These are not specific numbers, but again, based on a very specific tool that the Department of Energy provides, this Target Finder, it gives us at least something to shoot for, and at least gives the county an understanding of what the order of magnitude could be if they were to achieve a 75 rating in just these 17 buildings. So that's very important to keep in mind, that you have a tool in place that's very well known, it's very well established in the industry. Numerous people entities use this tool. And I think it's very important that the county establish a goal of 75 for energy rating for its buildings. The example I just gave you of the savings, again, is just an order of magnitude. But I want to go further than that and talk briefly about what my observations were of this project. And the topic I want to discuss with you is that the culture of energy efficiency in the county. Right now, we see a very what I see as a vertical model in the county regarding energy efficiency. Right now, you have 4 precincts. Yes, sir.
I've got a question. You said it would cost what, $13 million to get it to run?
12 million.
Wait, huh?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
again,
13 million. It's going to save us at about 1.3 per year?
Yes, sir.
At 12 million on a 7-year payout. But what's the life expectancy on this equipment?
I'm sorry, say again?
How long would it last?
That's about 7.6 years
No, to
simple
pay it back,
payback.
yeah. But how long would it last, the equipment we install?
To put this in place, I would submit it'd probably take about a year.
No, not to put it in place.
How long would the equipment
What's the
last?
life expectancy of the equipment? How long would it last?
Oh,
After it's installed?
equipment's going to fail, but I mean, you're looking at least probably a 10 to 15 year.
And so it's about the same then, because you're gonna, every year, you're gonna have a cost in maintenance, right? How much, did you figure it in here?
Yes, sir. That's energy-related costs. When you start talking about operations and maintenance, deferred maintenance items, as well as energy.
So it's supposed to last about 15 years.
Well, again, you're looking at useful life in primary equipment and building systems of HVAC in the order of maybe 15 years useful life. on your HVAC systems. That's usually a general number, 10 to 15 years. And so, and again, being a 5-year energy plan, obviously this is perpetual. We just don't stop at 5 years, obviously. We want this to go forward. And so, and what I'm going to discuss here shortly is how to get in and get organized to move forward into this 5-year energy plan.
Okay, on this, what do you plan to install? The turbines and solar panels or what, for the savings?
It's a range of measures. And again, when we walk through these, each and every one of these buildings, we took a lot of measurements, and we also made numerous observations which are documented in our final report. But we looked at everything from obviously change out of the HVAC systems to the mechanical systems, the lighting systems, the domestic hot water. We looked at what systems are in there. You've got a lot of unique opportunities out at the law enforcement center, especially the adult detention center. But there's actually two approaches to your measures that you're going to implement. One is a global approach, and those are the building systems that are common in each one of your buildings, such as lighting, HVAC, roofs, and the like. Then you look at the specific measures that are unique to that individual building. So, such as the courthouse, you have chillers in there, and the only other chillers that we looked at were over at the old admin building. So those are unique and specific to that building. But for the global measures, the portfolio level measures, such as the lighting systems to be a very common basic system, that's what you want to be able to understand from a portfolio standpoint, and that's where you're going to achieve your economies of scale. So, I'm not sure, did I answer your question, sir?
Commissioner.
I'm listening, I can talk and listen.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Again, back to this model of what currently we see the county in, and this is very typical what we see with political subdivision, is that it's a vertical model, and that the precincts themselves are the ones are responsible for the energy costs. And that makes it very competitive when there's monies available, when there's energy projects that are going to be implemented. So what I'm suggesting to the county is that they transition from a vertical model to a horizontal model, to where there's a single budget cost, a budget item for energy for the county-wide. And so this horizontal measure is one that brings coordinated effort. It's not disaggregated, and it crosses all boundaries of the precincts. And it actually allows you to achieve and maximize your operations, optimize your operating conditions in the mechanical system, and you look at the energy costs from a county level and not individually cost allocated to the precincts. That does a couple things for you. It does several things for you. It actually brings your energy costs in through a centralized office, so somebody can actually look at those bills and understand whether they're accurate or not. Right now, the bills go to different places, and they're primarily for accounting only. Nobody's looking at them from an energy efficiency standpoint, or whether the rates are correct or the tariffs are accurate. And plus, we looked at 32 meters in this electric meters that were aligned with these 17 buildings. 5 of those are under Magic Valley out at the law enforcement center. So we had 27 meters that are under AEP territory. Right now there's 225 electric meters. So a great starting point is to inventory the rest of those meters and understand where they're at, what the loads are with them, look at the rates, look at the tariffs to make sure they're accurate, and bring them back to a centralized office so somebody can manage those properly and make sure that they're correct going forward. It also eliminates double pay, and it obviously, if you can aggregate certain blocks of these meters later on, it will help you achieve better pricing when your contracts are up. So that's just one
Can I ask
opportunity
you,
for you.
we've got about 150 buildings.
Yes, sir.
in conducting your report, did you go out, I guess, does the report contain the recommendations that should be put in place for each one of the 150 buildings?
No, sir. We were assigned 17 buildings for this report. And that was, I won't say a challenge, but we took these 17 and used them, for lack of better words, as a sample of these 150, and then translated these into what the county could do to move forward with an energy strategy for all 150 buildings and 200-plus meters. That's how we treated this. So we went through 17 of these buildings, very, very detailed information.
And that's what you're submitting right now in your report, the recommendations you have
Yes, sir.
that we can use across
Yes,
the
sir.
board on all
Yes, sir.
facilities.
Yes, sir.
So obviously, this information is going to be very useful for our buildings and grounds and our facility maintenance guys. So, I mean, it's very
Absolutely.
difficult for us as elected
Let me visit
officials
with
to
you.
completely comprehend some of the technicalities of the report, but I'm certain that our staff can start going through it and figure out, what's going to be useful for some of those buildings and not.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Commissioner, what the Department of Energy has suggested to the committee, the committee being made up of representatives from throughout the county government, is that we, as a committee, continue to meet using this strategy to develop kind of tailor-made strategies for the county going forward. So we'll take this 5-year energy strategy, come back to the court with specific recommendations, even more specific than what's already in the actual strategy, and present that to the court for action at a later time. But the committee will continue to meet and kind of spearhead this energy efficiency movement as we undertake throughout the
Yeah, and
county.
I understand the spirit. The spirit, obviously, in efficiency is to lower our electrical demands, and hopefully there's some savings at the county. Obviously, we can't do everything that's recommended, but obviously we can do a phase approach. But we look forward to working with the report.
Absolutely. The committee recommends acceptance of the actual document, the 500-page document, and then the committee will continue to move forward utilizing that document.
But how can you take 17 buildings and apply them to all the other balance of the 150?
Let me
I
give
mean,
you
they're all different.
Yes,
I
sir.
thought we were going to be looking at each one of the buildings and saying this is what's needed in building 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and we submit the report to the employees, and hopefully they'll be able to put them in place.
Absolutely. The original scope of the project, Judge, was to take the 17 largest energy consumers throughout the county in terms of buildings and use that as a model and use that as a sample to be able to develop trends countywide.
Okay, is the committee satisfied with the results?
With the actual document, yes,
Did the county
sir.
get its dollars worth for what we paid?
With the actual document, yes, sir. We met this past week and went over the document. They did look at they gave us a historical picture of what each building was using in terms of energy. Also looks at the recommendations for each of the buildings. Also outlines the cost for each of the buildings, and then gives us a payback on those costs. So given the deliverables and the scope of the project, the committee is comfortable in saying that the report has met those deliverables.
Now, in that committee, you did have representatives from facility maintenance, buildings and grounds?
Yes, Mr. Sunday represented facility maintenance. We had representatives from each of the precincts. Purchasing was represented, the auditor's office was represented, the judge's office was represented, and we also have public information was also represented. So this is part of a piece of the puzzle that's going to push us forward.
Balde, where are we on the negotiations with the land office, with Andy Taylor and company? On the rate?
Judge, actually, we made contact with his office. He was not in his, when we made contact. Monica, what was the name of the Amanda Peterson?
Because they were going to meet sometime this summer.
Yes.
To renegotiate those rates.
Yes, so, and Amanda said that she would forward over the update, so we'll go ahead and get that update.
Yeah, follow up on it so we can get a report on next meeting.
Actually, Judge, my understanding was that there was a holdup in that, and the holdup was gathering the data for some of the usage, some of the historical usage. And fortunately, the strategy also has compiled a lot of that information, so we'll be giving that over to Rick Alvarez in our office. We'll be giving it over to the Andy Taylor Group to look at usage. And actually, the renegotiating of the contract is number one on the energy strategy that Mr. Herron and Mr. Vasaldua put together. So we just need action on accepting of the actual strategy, Judge.
Are there any other questions?
You need action on this then?
Yes, sir, just to accept the actual document.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, sir.
Commissioners.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Item 6C.
6C, Judge, we have with us today Mrs. Sylvia Espinosa. She's the mother of Jeremy Espinosa. We also have with us a spokesperson from the Texas Oregon Sharing Alliance. Her name is Edwina Garza. And we also have an actual Oregon recipient, Isabel Garza. Let me read the caption, Judge. It's approval of a proclamation declaring the month of August 2012 as National Minority Donor Awareness Month. As the court and Judge, you are aware, this is an item that's very near and dear to my heart. My son about 5.5 years ago was the fortunate recipient of a transplanted heart. At the age of 1, we found ourselves in Chicago in dire need of a heart to transplant. We received the gift of life about almost 6.5 years ago, and unfortunately about 1.5 years ago my son passed away, but fortunately he was able to give the gift forward. He was able to donate the gift of sight to someone in the donation of his corneas, and he also donated some tissue. So this is an item that is very near and dear to me, and it gives me great pleasure to bring Edwina Garza with the Texas Oregon Sharing Alliance in to talk about this proclamation.
Hi, good morning, Judge and Commissioners. I just want to thank you for your continued support in our mission to create a culture that supports organ donation. And the best way to support organ donation is through registering as an organ donor. It takes 60 seconds. You can do it 24 hours a day online at donatelifetexas.org. And we also have a link to that on our website, that's save8.org. Like I said, it takes 60 seconds, and it's the best way to let your family know your decision and to help save up to 8 lives. And I've got some information, if I may pass this out to you.
We also have Mrs. Sylvia Espinosa, mother of Jeremy Espinosa, an actual donor who saved the lives of up to 8 folks. So, Sylvia?
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, ma'am.
Thank you for having us. I'm a donor mom. I'm a proud donor mom of Jeremy. He was killed in a car accident in March 2003. 2 weeks before the incident, he let us know he wanted to donate his organs. He saved the lives of 5 people. We've been going out to, after the accident, 3 months afterwards, we've been going out to educate on the importance of organ donation. He opened our eyes. That year, he was one of 18 donors, and there was 1,500 people on the waiting list just here in the Valley. So we made it our mission to go out and educate. We've been going into high schools, junior highs, and we've been doing also the driving schools to educate our young students about the importance. And I'd like to introduce to you Isabel Garza. She's one of my son's recipients. She received a left kidney. Isabel.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Isabel Garza. I'm from Mercedes, and I received Jeremy's left kidney. And on March 23rd, 2003, that was when I received the organ. It's been 9 years now, and I am very energetic. I feel real healthy. I went to dialysis for 2.5 years, and never gave up my job. I worked even when I was in dialysis, and pretty soon I'll be celebrating my 10th year with my transplant, and I am a spokesperson for the Texas Organ Sharing Alliance, and thank you for having me here.
Thank you for coming, ma'am.
Judge, Commissioners, it's important to note that there's almost 5,000 folks on the waiting list for organs here in South Texas, in the area that Texas Oregon Sharing Alliance serves. And the numbers of donors in the Valley and Hidalgo County really haven't been where they need to be. And that's the reason that we're sponsoring this proclamation today, is to bring awareness to that number and to see what we can do as local government to bring this to light. If it pleases the court, I'd like to read the proclamation. It's whereas there are currently 114,535 people on the national transplant waiting list, of nearly which 55% are minorities, and whereas every 12 minutes, a new name is added to the national transplant list, and 18 people will die today waiting for a life-saving organ transplant, and whereas one organ donor could save 8 lives and improve the lives of 75 people, and whereas there are approximately 11,092 Texans on the national transplant waiting list, with 45.5% being Hispanic, and whereas the Texas Organ Sharing Alliance, which represents Central and South Texas on the national waiting list, currently has 4,862 people waiting for a transplant, and whereas the population of the state of Texas is 2.5 million, of which 6.2 million live in the Tosa service area, with only 2.4 million people registered to donate on the Donate Life registry. And whereas national surveys show that 90% of Americans support organ donation and 35% of Americans know the essential steps to become a registered donor. And now therefore be it resolved that the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court does hereby proclaim August 2012 as National Minority Donors Awareness Month.
Move for approval.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you so much, Judge, Commissioners.
Thank you. All right, next item, was there going to be that further publicity for the website or not? Jaime, just put him here in front so we can take a picture. It'll appear on the county's website.
On this one, I'll join the court.
Thank you. All right, on item 7A,
Good morning,
our
Judge.
Human Resources Department.
Go ahead. I think Marty would like to say something.
It was in relation to your item that you just took the picture on. It just further endorses, my husband was a transplant recipient for a kidney in 1992. That gave him a new life for 12 years, but now he's been on dialysis 7 years, and he is listed from UTMB for a transplant. We did have one call during Easter, but it did not happen, but we are still very hopeful, and these organizations are very instrumental in making us aware of the gift of life that someone can get. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Marty.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. I'm here on item 7A, Esther Cortez for Human Resources. It's a discussion, consideration, and action on appointment of Civil Service Commissioner. We have a vacancy right now on the board.
And the vacancy belongs to Precinct 4, I believe.
Yes, sir, and I was given a
Before we
name.
move on it, we have a presenter that has indicated she wants to say a few words on this issue. Ms. Townsend?
Virginia Townsend, Precinct 3. I just have a point of clarification, because it gets confusing because you all do things kind of fast sometimes. So this is somebody that's going to be appointed to this commission, but actually you all decided a few weeks ago that when a decision comes, you all are going to make the decision on the commission, right? You're going to sit on the commission and actually make decisions.
I think you're talking about two different things.
Is it?
Yes. Can you
Okay.
explain the difference,
Explain.
Esther?
This is under the local government code, and it's the appointment of a Civil Service Commissioner.
Those are the grievances for
The
termination,
ones that hear the
demotion.
grievances.
If they
Yes,
want
and
to
I
appeal.
thought-
You've been there.
Yes, and I thought that they said from now on through the grievance thing.
You're talking
we're
about
going to
salary
be there.
grievances? The salaries, the elected officials?
Is that different?
yeah, it's different.
Usually at that grievance committee, there will be something about salaries, and I, that's why
No,
it's
we
confusing.
adopted a well, I think we appointed the elected officials, certain of them. I don't remember the exact number or who they were, but there's elected officials now that are going to be deciding those appeals.
Okay, it's still confusing.
I can
So
provide.
there's actually two?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. The one for the salary appeals of elected officials is different.
That's budget time. You're in budget time,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Wow. Okay, thanks.
In fact, that's what you were advocating for, if I remember right.
Judge and Commissioners, the selectee that we're looking at is Mickey Rabinovich. She's out of the city of McAllen. She has a Bachelor of Arts from the University of Texas in Austin, also a Master of Arts from the University of Texas, Austin. Her background is in human resources. We think she'd be an excellent asset to our Civil Service Commission and represent us well.
What is the lady's name?
Mickey Rabinovich out of McAllen.
Is she here?
She could make it this morning,
All right.
but she's eagerly waiting.
Need a second?
Check.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge and Commissioners.
Item 8, our DA's office.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Morning, sir.
Requesting approval of a merited pay increase for the Assistant Commander for the HIDTA Task Force. Funding will be coming from the seized assets.
Much approved.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. That'll include number
Items
2.
1 and 2, Judge.
The other, item B is approval of revised Title 4E budget.
There's no money.
We took care of that, no,
Yeah.
1 and 2?
Yes.
Took care of both.
Yes, we took care of 1 and 2.
Thank you.
Well, one second, no.
That was
You
item
took care of
B.
A,
This is B,
1
okay.
and 2. This is item B.
Okay.
Move for approval of B1
And 2.
Second.
And 2.
and 2.
And, yeah, that's my second for 1 and 2.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 9, our Sheriff's Office.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Morning.
Can I cover 1 through 5, sir? Judge, authorization approval to accept an extension for the 2009 Operation Stone Garden Grant. New termination date will be August 31st of 12.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Authorization and approval to accept additional funding in the amount of $153,602. This will be used to purchase the communication equipment.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Authorization and approval for the county judge as authorized official to review and sign required documents.
Move for approval.
Second.
As to 3, 4, and 5?
Yes, sir.
All right, those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye,
sir.
motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item 11, our Health Department.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Item 11A, discussion and action including but not limited to indigent health care programs and expenditures. Sir, I want to give you an update on our 1115 waiver status. A couple of things I want to bring up to note. We have a public forum scheduled on August 2nd from 1:30 to 3 at Texas A&M Rural Health off of McAllen, Vermont, to review our beginnings of our regional health plan, and that's open to anyone who would like to attend to that, including any of your staff or chiefs of staff that would like to attend and get an update. They'd be welcome to attend to that. Also very important, on August the 14th, sir, we are looking at having a workshop, a Commissioners Court workshop during Commissioners Court to review this plan, and we have several presenters coming to present. It's extremely important because South Texas, our 4-county partnership in South Texas, has an opportunity to obtain up to $1.2 billion with a B dollars in services. We just need to come up with a real comprehensive plan. Now, of course, that would be some funds that would be multiplied and matched by the 1115 waiver. So we're doing the best we can to obtain as many government entities to participate in IGT, intergovernmental transfer. So we're also having a meeting with the school districts and the cities to see if we get them to participate and contribute as well to try to generate more healthcare dollars for South Texas. Of course, this is all in collaboration and hand in hand with the new Affordable Care Act and some of the changes that have happened at the federal level. The main issue next week, we are at a summit in Austin. There's 7 delegates from South Texas attending to the summit, and there's been a webinar that's been sent forward to Mr. Crane's office and Mr. Fracio's office and budget office in regards if they want to listen in on some of the discussion. It's reviewing some of the new changes and rules in dealing with our regional health plan. But it's very important. August 14th hearing is very, very important, Judge, that we need to have this information brought up to you. I think the main issue here is that there's a lot of confusion in the public. I'm getting called by hospitals, and not hospitals, but doctors' offices, that they think a lot of this 1115 waiver is a fee-for-service component. So all these folks are wanting to partner up because they're thinking they could generate income out of this. I want to make it very clear to the public, this is not a fee-for-service program. This is strictly a hospital payment system that's going to be based on outcomes and scientific backup of treatment and intervention. In other words, you have to pay for the program up front, and then they'll compensate you based on outcomes and based on you being part of the regional health plan. So I wanted to make sure that that was out there, because there's this urban myth involving this out there that's really not accurate, and we just need to disclose that. This is a very important component for South Texas. One of the key issues here is that our future health care here in the Valley is going to be determined by this. And that could mean...
By what?
By this regional health plan and by this 1115 waiver. On the worst case scenario, if things don't work out, we could actually have hospitals close. Worst case scenario. Best case scenario, we could expand some of the services and include a lot more medical health components within our community. So it's really going to depend on involvement from our county government, city government, school district government, other entities that have the potential to match any federal funds. Now, Mr. Crane has been involved with several of our meetings and discussions. I've invited Mr. Fracio to be part of them as well. So that's why this workshop on the 14th is very essential and very important. I'd be happy to meet with individual commissioners if they like to review this in very much of a detail. But this plan is also very fluid. I always say that this field that we're playing on with healthcare, it's like Jell-O. It's not firm at all. It's always moving, it's always pliable, because the federal government and the new laws that has changed in healthcare, they haven't settled them yet. So a lot of this is very fluid and very difficult to work with. But we're doing the best we can with what we got. But the ultimate goal of the hospitals, healthcare community, and the local governments, the different city, county, state governments, is to try to maximize every dollar for Texas.
When is that workshop you're setting up?
The 14th, I've been working with Badia and Mr. Guerra to try to have that on the 14th at Commissioner's Court around 11 a.m. That's the tentative time, sir.
Next item.
Okay, item number 11B, requesting authorization to accept the attached tuberculosis prevention and control state grant, contract number 2012-039064-001B. The purpose of this amendment is to decrease the contracted funds due to expenditures being below the projected budget totals and to change the narrative report addresses. The effective date of this is July 31st, 2012. There was $8,000 drawn from our contract to be used to buy tuberculosis medication at the state level that they help us provide in our community. So that's what they use some of that money for.
Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
And item 2, requesting approval of the attached TB budget appropriations.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Any question-
motion carries.
Any questions or comments?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next item, number 12.
Good
Our
morning,
IT
Judge.
department.
Sorry, Judge. Good morning, Judge Commissioners. A couple of small items. Item 12A is purchase, authorization to purchase wireless service through the county's membership participation with DIR with Verizon for the items as listed. These are 2 data cards for Constable Precinct 4.
Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye. Thank
Aye,
you.
motion carries.
12B, it is equipment upgrades. The service is already implemented on these devices. We're just upgrading the equipment at 0 cost.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. Have a great day, Judge, Commissioner.
Thank you, sir. Item 13, our elections office.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. Item 13A, I would just like to update you. Today is Election Day. I'd like to encourage everyone that is here that has not voted to be sure. There are 74 poll locations, so it's very important that they know before they head out to the polls, where is my poll location? Please call the office at 318-2570. Find out what is my precinct, where am I supposed to go vote? Because on Election Day, if you go to the wrong poll location, your vote will not count. We were the #1 early voting turnout in comparison to the 10 counties, largest counties throughout the state, but under 5% is still not sufficient because we are almost 300,000 voters. So although the public will hear this after the elections are over, there are still people in here. We still have time to get out there and vote, and I encourage everyone to please be informed. There are 20 different ballot styles, so be informed which races am I supposed to vote for. Find out before you head out there, and head out there to vote.
I would like to request, in preparation for November,
Yes, sir.
that you provide us with a list of polling locations for early voting and Election Day.
Yes, sir.
And the names of the judges that you're recommending be
Headed in.
providing their services at these locations.
Yes, sir. We're already working on that. We just need to finish with this runoff. So important, so many races that are on there, but it's always being worked on, and we're trying to finalize so that we can present to this court timely so that you are able to review the locations, review the workers, and give us feedback as always, Judge.
By timely, you think it'll happen in August?
Oh, yes, sir. That is our plan.
Good. Thank you,
Thank
ma'am. Good luck tonight. Item 14, our right-of-way.
Yes, Judge, Commissioners, and 14A is consideration and approval to purchase a certain tract of land, also known as parcels 8 and 10 Minnesota Drainage Project for Precinct 2. These were approved last week.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 15A, Precinct 1.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Cindy de la Cruz, Precinct 1. Approval of appointment of members to the Emergency Services District Number 2 for the term of July 31st, 2012 to December 31st, 2013 pursuant to Texas Health and Safety Code Section 775.034.
Before we vote on it, I know, Gary, Ms. Townsend wanted to make a statement.
Actually, questions, not a statement.
All right.
Okay, this is a good time to find out a whole bunch of answers on what is an emergency service district? What do they do? I noticed for Precinct 1, I just wondered if people have to have qualifications to be on it or anything. Precinct 1 has the names here: Danny Guzman, Eloy Cardenas, Pedro de la Cruz, but I've only been to one of their meetings, and it was this district, and it was years ago. But they really and truly couldn't, I know it has something to do with ambulance service, but the only one who seemed to know anything about what was going on was the attorney. And we did talk with the attorney, but didn't get a whole lot straight with him either, except I let him know that if there isn't audits and if there is something wrong, he's basically the one where the buck stops. So I still don't know who's in charge, who watches over emergency service districts, who makes sure they do have an audit, what happens if they don't have an audit. I don't know. It's taxpayer money, so I still have never gotten it straight. I know Precinct 3 doesn't even have one, but the other 3 precincts do.
Commissioner, do you want to answer the purpose of these districts?
Basically, the district is supposed to make sure that our constituents are provided with a proper EMS and fire protection services toward our district, which are the rural areas. And that's their main purpose and their main function. And as far as the audits are concerned, the auditor has gone ahead and requested the current audits from each fire district, and they are compliant, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, they all submitted.
That's
And
where,
the other one was the qualifications of the members.
actually, there is no set rule for qualifications. Basically, these are just people, constituents that live within the district. That's what it is.
How about who's in charge of watching over them or
That
getting
would, I
reports
would
from
imagine, I don't know the answer to that, but I would imagine it would be up to the precinct county commissioner to watch over.
Also, fire marshal's office, county
Well,
judge's
yeah, they all
office.
work
All
together.
together, are really over the ESDs. The individual board members are appointed by the commissioner. Of course, it has to go to the commissioner's court for approval. From there on, I know we use the fire marshal to work with the ESD board alongside with the commissioner's office, but that's traditionally who's over the ESD.
fire marshal, not emergency service?
Well, fire
management?
marshal, emergency service, all of them, all together. I'm sorry, I'm leaving him out.
Well, I like it when there's just one. And when there's too many, then everybody
Yeah.
says that's his job. No, it's his job. I don't know. Just seems to work better if there's one entity that they have to answer to, whatever.
All right.
Well,
Yes,
I
sir.
just, it's confusing because it's something that not very many people know about, and you don't hear about it except maybe once or twice a year. Thanks.
I think the
Thank you, ma'am.
districts are a separate legal taxing entity.
Yeah, there's
correct.
Yeah, and they don't have, I think they're not overseen by anyone else. It's just a separate entity altogether, autonomous.
But they work in conjunction with our fire marshal and the emergency management coordinator and the local agencies as well. And would, I'm sorry?
What's your role in the audit?
I'm not involved other than, recently I have asked for the audit reports. Those audit reports are supposed to be provided to the Commissioner's Court, and recently they're sending it to the county judge, and I get a copy of it. But I don't audit, and I don't get involved in the financials. Because it's a separate entity.
Yolanda, who's the auditor for these districts?
Independent auditor, Judge.
Our independent
Each of
auditor?
each of the organizations, each of the districts has their own separate auditor. Mr. Fracio is correct, is that these are separate legal entities, and what we've done through the judge's office is we actually accept the audits when they come in, and we make them available to Mr. Ofracio, who reviews them.
All
But
right,
the
thank
audits are conducted independent of the county's auditor.
Thank you, sir.
Can we
What
get
about,
excuse me,
go ahead,
can
Commissioner.
you forward a copy of the audit report to the individual precincts? 'Cause we're out the code.
Okay, certainly, my understanding through the auditor's office was that we were to receive them and provide them to the auditor for his
I think it'd be a
review.
good practice to give a
certainly we can
copy
do
also
that.
to the commissioner of that precinct.
Absolutely, we will do that from
All
now
right.
on.
What are the names of the recommended
The
members?
actual, if I may judge, the term expirations have, members that have expired their term are Danny Guzman, Ms. Irma Rodriguez, and Mrs. Teresa del Toro. Members to be appointed would be Mr. Pete de la Cruz, replacing Mrs. Irma Rodriguez, Mr. Lloyd Cardenas, replacing Mrs. Teresa del Toro, and reappointing Mr. Danny Guzman. And with that, I'd like to make a motion for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. 16, Precinct 2.
Morning, Judge. Raul Silguero, representing Commissioner Tito Palacios, Precinct 2. First, Judge, I want to express my appreciation for your expressions of condolences. Going back to the item 16A, this is a presentation on approval for the following 4 items related to Asago Construction and South Tower Road. Item number 1 is application for final payment in the amount of $16,560.12. Item 2, certificate of substantial completion reflecting the punch list of June 19, 2012. Item 3 is application for retainage in the amount of $43,642.42. Item 4 is certificate of construction completion reflecting the completion date of June 20, 2012, with the authority for the county judge or court member to execute the documents.
Move for approval on 16A, 1,
Judge.
2, 3, 4.
Second.
Judge,
Yes, sir.
we were informed that the construction project was not completed by the timeline specified in the contract. Therefore, the company might be required to pay liquidated damages. So the numbers that you're approving may not be the correct numbers.
I think the approval of the invoices are correct, and I think if any deductions or necessary because of delays according to the contract, I think you have the authority to make those
Can we approve it
deductions.
subject to?
To the deductions,
Any
it's,
potential liquidated damages? Okay.
we're not going to pay them more, it's
Yeah.
going to be paid less. So he can
Well,
deduct.
that was my motion then.
All right, is that a second, is there a second? Those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge Commissioners.
Thank you, sir. Item 17, Precinct 3.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Requesting approval of an interlocal agreement between the County of Hidalgo and the City of Penitas.
What are they trying to do, Mingo?
They're trying to repair the Tom Gill Road, Judge.
Okay.
Has Steve looked at this in local?
I
Yeah,
drafted
Steve
it,
looked at it.
And also, the auditor had a concern before me is the other document, the pre-approval document that's to be
So
signed.
what is the concern then?
I believe that was the only concern that.
The documents were not
pre-approval
attached,
document.
basically
And
what it was.
everything's okay now?
Yeah. So if they can be attached or provided to the county clerk?
Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item 18, our Budget Office.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. Sergio Cruz, Department of Budget and Management. Item 18A is approval to execute the deed settlement statement and all other closing documents for the sale of 2 tracts of real estate property out of the Texas-Mexican Railway Company survey to Hidalgo County Drainage District Number 1. This is the sale that was approved by court back in June 26 for the property located in 1105 North Doolittle Road.
I thought we talked about it several months ago, but this property is not going for sale.
No, it's not being sold. It was an interlocal you approved on June 26 between
Correct.
the county and the drainage district, for the
Okay.
drainage district to buy this property from the county.
Oh, all right. Move for approval?
So we have the same concern on that one. The
I remember,
documentation was not
something
attached.
about it.
You have those on the table, you're saying, Steve?
I've got all the documents here with me.
Okay.
And I'm assuming that includes the authority for me to sign,
Correct.
not a settlement statement, but a special warranty deed.
Special warranty deed and the settlement statement,
Okay.
and various other closing documents.
All right, motion has been made. There a second?
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 18B is consideration and approval of imposition of optional fees for calendar year 2013, which is option A, retain the same fees as 2012. This is in accordance with Transportation Code, Section 502.401, 402, and 403.
What does this actually mean?
This is retaining the same $10 motor vehicle registration fee that we had last year,
All right.
both for the county and for the RMA.
All right. Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Pilar, was that the issue you were here on?
Right.
Yes? Okay.
Morning.
Item 18C is a presentation of the monthly budget report that Ms. Carena is passing out. If you look on page, in page 3, it shows the year-to-date revenues and expenditures as of June of this year. We're pretty much tracking, on average, we're about 1% above on collection of revenues and expenditures, so we're basically on track. There, one new report that I'd like to point out to the court is on page 19, and that is the detail of the unemployment claims for the second quarter by department and by result.
19.
Page 19. That's a new report that we've added to the monthly budget report. And it shows the second quarter unemployment claim summary by department, the claims that were filed against the departments, those that were protested, those that were won, and those that were lost. As you can see, we had a total of 28 claims that were filed in the second quarter of this year. 16 of those claims were protested. 4 of those claims were not protested, and 8 of those claims were base period claims where the employee separated from the county, had a subsequent employer, and then separated from them, and the charge falls back on the county.
Back, yeah.
But don't you also have the right to protest at that point?
At that point, we don't have the right to protest. It basically, The prior employer would be the one that would file a protest or not. It's just one of those unfortunate incidents that we have, as those are unpreventable base period claims that the county incurs by being a reimbursing employee. We did win 8 of those protested, of the 16 protested claims, we did win 8. 6 of those claims were lost, and we have 14 claims that are still pending decision as of June of this year. On page 20, we have the same information for the first quarter, and we'll try to provide this information to you on a monthly basis. That way the court can be aware of the claims.
That's not much of a turnaround ratio on the employees we've got. We've got how many employees? Close to 3,000?
Close to 3,000 employees.
Over 3,000.
So it's very little, the turnaround.
As a percentage of the employees that we have separated, I mean, the number of employees that do file claims is low. However, we'll try to get some type of employee turnaround ratio as far as how many employees are leaving the county on a quarterly basis or monthly basis, and try to provide that information as well, so you can get a percentage of how many are filing claims as a percentage of those that leave employment. We'll try to have that information for you for the next report.
Have you followed through with our request that you have these claims reviewed by Josie's office?
Yes, we've been meeting with Josie's office. We've provided them a draft of the procedures that we wish to follow. We'll be meeting with them again this week, and hopefully be able to present something to the court as far as to the new procedures that we'll be doing. Basically, that procedure would mean that any type of termination from the county should be reviewed by Josie's team, as far as to make sure that those involuntary terminations, I mean, to be reviewed by Josie's team to make sure that we have adequate documentation to support the termination, and that would prevent hopefully some of these claims.
All right, sir.
That item requires no action, it's just a report for the court. Moving on to item 18D1 is approval of the 2012 appropriation of funds into the Courthouse Security Fund, Fund 1241, in the amount of $10,000. This is for the purchase of security equipment and repairs to some of the equipment that we have.
Need a second?
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 18D2, A and B, is approval of the certification of revenues by the county auditor and appropriation of those funds into the Precinct 4 Drainage Improvement Project, Program 36, in the amount of $95,568.26.
Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 18D3, A and B, is approval of certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor and appropriation of those funds into the Precinct 4 Program 70 in the total amount of $50,000 for reimbursements for the Seminary Road project.
Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item 19.
Good morning. Martha Salazar for the Purchasing Department. Nothing to, it's 19A, 1, 2, A, B, and C, 3A, B, and C, nothing to report or action to be taken. Item 4, we're asking for approval to accept the rebate checks from ComData Product Services, fuel purchases for the second quarter of 2012 in the amount of $857.33.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 5, there's authority and action we need from Commissioners Court in connection with the sole proposal received for the RFP of Energy Management Consultant. Your options are A, continue with the project's deadline for action by Commissioners Court, which is August 26th of this year, or B, approval by Commissioners Court of one of the following options related to the project. One is to reject the sole response received, re-advertise the project, or cancel the project until such time as necessary due to need by Hidalgo County to select a new energy sales provider.
How does this differ from what we just heard earlier?
That one, there are plans on how to implement energy solutions for the county. This, when the county put this out, at that point, I believe the county believed there was a way to terminate the agreement from GLO with Reliant.
Oh, this has to do with Andy Taylor.
This has to do, this is still coupled to that. It would depend. I would recommend that at this point, we cancel the project If we're successful and then we negotiate something better and it expires, then you are going to need an energy sales
So your
an energy
recommendation is
consultant.
B?
I would recommend you take no action on A,
What are we doing?
and take action on B3 only.
We can let it go.
Cancel?
Yes, that's what I'm recommending.
Okay.
Move for approval on B then? No action on A, right?
B3.
Yes, no action on A, and we're going to take action on B3 only.
Yeah, B3.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Before we vote, Ms. Townsend, did you have a comment?
No, I think you're on the right track.
Well, thank you.
Just because I made the motion.
When I see this, and there was a proposal from Houston, and one from Dallas, and one from Portland, I'm going, no. We've been talking about this for a long time, we need an energy management consultant, but we thought you were going to do it from in-house, so we could keep track of it and have somebody around all the time. If this is going to be such a big deal and we're going to invest so much on energy and the conservation of energy and everything, I really think we ought to have somebody here. I don't want somebody away, that's all. It didn't make sense to me. But you're on the right track, thanks.
Those in favor of the motion is made and seconded indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B for Precinct 2, 1A, acceptance and approval to execute a professional engineering services contract with TEDSI Infrastructure Group for the Dicker Road improvements, and approved for negotiations on April the 24th of this year.
Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item B is acceptance and approval of work authorization 1, estimated cost of $397,469 for provision of engineering services required by Precinct 2 on the Dicker Road improvements, and that's under contract number 119.
Move for approval?
Second.
That's a question.
Yes.
No, it was on B2, the next item.
Oh,
Item C, did we vote on B? Okay, item C is pursuant to
We
the...
made a motion.
We didn't vote on item
Yeah,
B.
we just made a motion and a second.
All right, those in favor of the motion is made and seconded on item B indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Under item C is pursuant to the current contract with TEDSI, that's contract number 119, a request for Commissioners Court to approve the engineer to permit subcontracting of R. Gutierrez Engineering Corporation and Robert Kistner Engineering in connection with
approval.
work authorization 1.
Second.
So what's the concern, sir?
That's on 2,
On
the
two,
next
right.
one. We need action on this one.
Move for
C.
approval?
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Approval of interlocal cooperation agreement between the City of FAR, City of Edinburgh, the County of Hidalgo Precinct 2, and the County of Hidalgo Precinct 4 to improve and expand West Owasso Road from Jackson Road to US 281. The concern is Precinct 4's identification of funding. Precinct 2 has theirs in place. I believe Mr.
We already identified funding.
Cruz was going to identify that.
Oh, okay.
This is the one they talked
That
about.
was the
the
concern that you don't have enough funding for the entire project.
Judge Commissioner, we have identified the $200,000 from the Precinct 4 account, just pending an emergency transfer into the correct account. We'll need to obtain the program numbers for this project, so that's the only thing that's pending, but we do have it identified.
All right, move for approval is subject to funding amendment.
Yes, second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Under Precinct 3, item C1, requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements, Texas Local Government Code 262-024A4, a professional service.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Presentation of the scoring grid for the purposes of ranking by Commissioners Court. The firms ranked, nominated, evaluated, graded, and scored. From the engineering pool, that was LNG at 100, Javier Hinojosa 92, and Isaguirre Engineering at 73. Does the court wish to rank them in the order of their scores?
Move for approval.
Second. Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item C would authorize purchasing to negotiate a contract with the number one ranked LNG for the provision of
Move to
on-call
approve.
engineering services.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And just to clarify, that is for Precinct 3's TxDOT-related project.
Yeah.
Item D for Precinct 4, acceptance and approval of work authorization 1 in the amount of $9,662.44 submitted by LNG
in engineering laboratory, engineering firm professional laboratory services, construction materials testing, and this is for Fike Pump Station Drainage Project. I believe there was, there is no concern on that.
This is for precinct 4?
Precinct 4.
Yeah. Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
D1B, requesting approval of payment for invoice number 1025-03 in the amount of $3,994.49 is submitted by George M. Mitch Hudgens Modern Technologies, and this is for the TCEQ incinerator permit.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
E1A, Colonia Access Program, Precinct 1, acceptance and approval to execute a professional engineering services agreement, Border Colonia Round 3 with LNG Laboratory as authorized for negotiations on July the 10th.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And that was for materials testing purposes. Item B, this is requesting approval of work authorization 1 for contract number 194 with LNG Engineering and Laboratory with a proposed fee of $2732.98 to provide construction materials testing service for Precinct 1's Border Colonia Round 3, La Milpa subdivision project. There is a concern by the auditor. That is in connection with the error posted, I believe, on the list of fees. LNG has since sent us an email, and it is attached, where even though the fees are at a higher rate. No, I'm talking about the
Yeah, we
wrong.
just needed a
This is the wrong
document.
one. This is the wrong one. I'm sorry. This is in connection with your concern, Mr. Ofracio, on the purchase requisition. The requisition has been entered, has been submitted, but it needs to be approved. So the requisition has not been approved, so it hasn't encumbered the funds. So we need to, subject to that.
Okay, that's my motion.
Is that your
subject to
concern?
that.
Marty, but the main thing, is we're trying to figure out how the cost proposal amount.
Need a
was
second?
I think
arrived at.
Mr.
Those
Barrios
in-
was going to speak to that, and he did give, Ms. Chavez, no, not on that one. He was going to address that with you.
We have a motion and a second already, and
Okay.
those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Derived in determining compliance with the contract. The fees, the cost proposal that you were talking to me about. Okay, but it's been approved, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
We will need that in order to pay the invoice, but we
Right.
can get that later.
Yeah, at the time we submit the invoice, you'll have the proposal on breakdowns on each of the items.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Next item, Marty.
Yes, I'm sorry, I'm locked out of my computer, I'm getting it back on. Okay, the next one was, that was for precinct 2?
2.
B, okay, I'm going to G, Colonia Access Program Precinct 3 pursuant to Texas Local Government Code 263031, and the interest of expediting a project's progress, requesting authority approval for after the contract was made for Precinct 3 Border Colonia Contract Number 090 and La Homa Road South, the
Marty, I think
North-
you skipped,
Yeah,
you
you
skipped
skipped
F.
one. We
Marty.
need to go back to precinct 2.
F, did I skip F?
You
Yeah.
skipped F.
I apologize, let me go back. F1, requesting approval of a supplemental agreement for Colonia Program Precinct 2. That is for agreement number 4 between Hidalgo County and Those Logistics with an increase of $4,500.
Move to approve.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B is requesting approval of Amendment 1 to Work Authorization 3 with Those Logistics
Move to approve.
for $4,500.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye, motion carries.
Okay, now on to G1. This is Colonia Access Program for Precinct 3 pursuant to Texas Local Government Code 262031, and in the interest of expediting a project's progress, requesting authority and approval for the precinct commissioner or designee to execute change orders that involve an increase or decrease in the cost of $50,000 or less. The original contract price may not be decreased by 18% or more without the consent of the contractor.
So
This
what
is for expediting things that are $50,000 or less, change orders by the precinct commissioner.
So that it's okay to do that?
Under the local government code, it can be done.
Commissioner, the reason we're trying to do this is that we've had projects where
the contractor has to stop because there's a need for additional pipe. You know, the contractor might have said, we need 20 pipes, and it turns out that we needed 40. So in order to continue with the work, the change order will be signed by you or a designee, and we can, then we'll bring the change order back to
All
court.
right, move for
final
approval.
Second.
But within those boundaries, right? Only
Yes,
within the
yes.
boundaries that are
Yeah.
specified?
You're limited to 50,000.
Yeah.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item H is also Colonia Access Program Precinct 4, acceptance and approval to execute a professional engineering contract with Dos Logistics as authorized and approved for negotiations on April the 13th.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B, acceptance and approval of work authorization 1 for contract number 129 with a proposed fee of $76,643.73 with those logistics to provide plan specifications and estimate and construction inspection for Round 3 for Precinct 4 in various Colonia Access Program Round 3 projects.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Marty, same thing on the H-1B, we're going to need a listing about how the price was arrived at?
That one, I believe he's already submitted to Mr.
Already
Chairman.
given to-
He- Just this morning. Thank you.
¿Y nomás una? Ya te firmé aquí, ¿eh? ¿Esta misma? All right, and is that through, Marty? You're through?
Yes, thank you.
All right. Next under open forum, first presenter is Mr. Frank Travers.
Again, good morning, Judge and Commissioners. I'm always glad and appreciative of the time which I can speak to you. My subject again is the placing of open forum at the end of agenda rather than the way it was for so much time before. This subject seems to drag out. I've spoken before you on this, I think it's about 2 months or so ago. And I even made the statement that having had my say, I wouldn't be speaking on it again. But this thing seems to drag out more and more, so here I am one more time. Second verse, same as the first, could have gone better, but it's going to get worse. I really have a hard time understanding and been trying to think hard about what really happened and questioning why you put it back in the first place. It seemed like the reason, of course, is to save time and the way time was being wasted. But I think we need to look at exactly what took all the time, which is putting the actual work of the commissioners later into the program. There was a tremendous influx, and still is, and very appropriately so, the award ceremonies, individual recognitions, and large groups. Sometimes these people come in as an individual recognition, doesn't take very long. But there are other occasions where there's a large number of participants in some organization. They literally fill the parking lot, and some of the presentations can take virtually a half hour all by themselves. In addition to that, the actual open forum part has been well controlled and regulated. Never more than 30 minutes in total, and each individual presentation well held down. And on top of that, when the award ceremonies really stretched out the time, I think those who had anything to say cut their remarks down to a very brief presentation. So what's behind it? Why did you change it? I think, even though it's not intended that way, that some of you have resented the remarks as a personal attack. I know they weren't meant that way, and I don't think you individually are even ready to admit that, but perhaps are going along with the group that they're really not being nice and really should be better regulated. Now, you know these people, these ladies and the owls, some of you a lot better than I do. In the last year since I've been part of this group, I've learned so much from them. I know they have been participating for 20, 30 years, some of them. In a lot of forums, not necessarily here, but in their cities and school boards, irrigation districts, any place where money is spent. They seem to follow the dollars, and the bigger the dollars, the more they question it, and rightly so. Now, I know that participations are important, and you want the public to be involved as well. I know a number of people do watch these presentations when they're rebroadcast at 10 o'clock at night. I live in a gated community of about 80 people, and at least 3 of those, without my telling them anything, have remarked that they've seen these television programs. Now, if that ratio of 3 out of 80 extends to the general public, we've got a huge public participation viewing these. Now, when you change it to the end of the forum, those that were used to watching at 10 o'clock at night are very well asleep by midnight. And I think we have severely limited the public hearing and viewing, and the Owls recognize this, and they still have the same motives as they did before. Now, one of my favorite politicians from years gone by is Ted Kennedy. Not because of the particular policies or laws that he advocated or pushed, but he was famous for being able to speak to his fellow legislators and just tear them apart on an issue that they were discussing, and then right afterwards come down and throw his arm around them and say, "Hey, how did you like those apples? I really let you have it, didn't I?" Now, I think we need more of that attitude here. We're all on the same side. We all want better government. We want to try real hard. So I hope that you will see it this way and will reconsider. And I know the Owls have had it above all for an open vote as to how you really feel, and not really just taking this aside. You have all the power to do anything you want. And I wish you would open up the discussions and put aside any idea that there's any personal criticisms here, because really there's not. And I hope you will reconsider and put it back up front where I personally think it really belongs. Again, I thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you, sir. Next presenter is Donna Travert. All right, well, thank you. And let me just say that I hope that you can appreciate that we're trying to give you a meaningful opportunity to express yourself on issues that are relevant. You indicated that you wanted an opportunity to discuss with the commission your concerns before we voted on it. If you see what we did this morning with Ms. Townsend, she came up 3 different times and spread her 5 minutes throughout on issues that she was concerned about, but in a manner that we could also express ourselves and not just listen. And I feel that was giving her a meaningful voice at today's meeting. All right. Next item is item number 21. Pursuant to 551-071 and 072, would entertain a motion to proceed to executive session. Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Raúl.
Monica, can you come? We're back in open session. At this time, we're going to be convening our regular meeting again from our executive session. Item number 22, real estate acquisition.
Commissioners, under real estate acquisition, I'd like to request authority to purchase property by bid not to exceed appraised value.
Second.
And that would be a written appraisal that you're going to be obtaining. All right, those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
If I may, Judge, under item 22B, no action, pending potential. Item 22C, claim of Ray Carejo. Judge Commissioners, I'd like authority to make a settlement offering the amount of $1,800.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 22D, claim of Consuelo Gonzalez. Judge Commissioners, I'd ask the court to refer back to item 5A1 and 2. Item 5A1, I'm requesting exemption from the competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code 262024A4, professional service for the provision of legal services representation in connection with litigation.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And item 5A2, requesting the engagement with the firm of Gonzalez and Palacios for the provision of legal services representation in connection with litigation, specifically claim of Consuelo Gonzalez.
Move for approval.
Second.
Judge, I'll need to abstain.
All right, sir. Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Judge
Make sure
Commissioner,
that
I wanted
Josie
to-
assigns
Yes,
Michael.
I wanted to make, put on the record that Josie's office and Michael will be involved in this case as well. Okay, as a disclaimer, or disclosure, I'm sorry, not disclaimer, disclosure.
All right.
Item 22, my apologies, item 22E, C 1989-B, -12-B, Domingo Gonzalez versus Eliasandro Rodriguez et al. Judge Commissioners, I want to disclose that that case, I will be asking Ms. Ramirez's office to be facilitating on behalf of the county, and that would be Josie Ramirez.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Judge Commissioners, I have no further action.
Need a motion to
So
adjourn?
moved.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you, gentlemen.